please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. So there has been a lot of recovery actually. If you look at the intraday graph of the Nifty Bank, also the Nifty, of course, we were much worse off at around 1:30 this afternoon. So from those levels, there's a recovery, call it short covering perhaps, whatever it is, it's helped matters. Let's get in another voice from the market then. Nilesh Shah, Managing Director of Kotak Mahindra AMC now joins in. Good afternoon, Nilesh. Thanks so much for joining in. You know, very important to talk to someone like yourself because we have been in the doldrums for a while. Almost retesting the Feb 6 lows, continuous selling, last couple of days. What is the sense out there? I mean, what are you hearing from your investors? Are people still patient? Or is there a sense of redemptions? What's the feeling out there?
So we are too heterogeneous country to give one standard opinion. Has the flows to mutual fund reduced from its, let's say, peak level? Yes. But that could be reaction to, LTCG tax levied, or that could be reaction to market volatility, or that might be kind of waiting for some more correction before money can come in. But the good part is that the SIP flows have been increasing momentum month on month, and now we almost have 2 crore plus SIPs contributing $1 billion plus every month to equity mutual funds. The client reaction also has been varied across the spectrum. There are clients who are looking to override the volatility, and at every dip they are a buyer. There are some clients who are nervous but not yet, putting redemption request. There are few clients who probably have put in redemption request. So I guess we are just getting used to the volatility which was missing last year.
Okay, well, seriously want to look at Axis Bank once again because it's in the green and it's taken Bank Nifty almost there, now down only 56 points on the Bank Nifty. So obviously there's quite a bit of buying which is happening right now for call it short covering or whatever. And as you pointed out, a couple of these stocks like Jubilant, Raymond, SRF now moving to high point. Nilesh, good afternoon. So, talking to Sanjay Dutt earlier, he said that, why not buy PSU banks right now? They're trading now much below book value, and this is maybe one isolated instance, and you just can't write down India's banking system. Your thoughts on that?
So, essentially, Anuj, we are looking not this isolated incidences, but essentially looking at the change in the governance structure of public sector banks, where one, the top management's compensation, which is at a substantial discount to market prices, is aligned to market level. You cannot expect that every PSU bank will continue to get top talent at current level of compensation. That's long recognized but remains unsolved. Second is the governance structure. Many of the NPAs are function of external influence on PSU banks' decision making rather than their limitation in anticipating future. So as long as we cannot create a governance structure where external influence will be minimal, I think PSU bank as a sector remains more of a trading opportunity, not on a day-to-day basis, but over a cyclical basis, rather than long-term investment opportunity like private sector banks or select NBFC.
So, Nilesh, I'm guessing you're not too keen on buying PSU banks. What are you looking at? I mean, domestic institutions have still kept the faith in February. Top preferences right now in the market?
While I'm not allowed to be stock specific, I would like to caveat that we are now far more focused on bottom-up stock picking rather than top-down sector selection. But within that, the focus is more on domestic consumption story. I think the consumer side of the business has been doing well. The third quarterly results have been reasonably bullish, and the outlook of all these businesses across variety of spectrum has been fairly positive. some of the companies have started talking about capacity constraints, not in this quarter, but in the quarters to come, which means there should be a revival of capex somewhere towards the second half of this financial year, and that should be positive even for investment-oriented themes.
Okay, Nilesh, thanks a lot for your time today. Always good talking to you. The market is going home with some bit of recovery. Amrish Palika is also in our studios. Amrish, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, 10,390 now back to your comfort zone, or you would want to wait for some more time?
No, it's not a question of Nifty being in the comfort zone or not, because there are a number of stocks which are available as if Nifty is 9,500 levels. So I think one needs to be more stock specific.
You've been making that point.
Yes,
so that's
absolutely.
why I'm asking you that now are you buying now?
See, I have been buying selectively wherever the prices have come within the band where I'm comfortable with a specific stock. But if you're talking of the markets overall, I think I would still wait to see whether it breaks that 10,200 mark or not, which I was talking earlier. Because if it breaks that 10,200 mark, I think there would be some further panic, especially from the retail investors. And that is the time I think you'll have actual fire sale across. So at that point of time, I don't think people would look at fundamentals. It's only the prices which will keep going down. And I think, one would get a lot of bargain if one is sitting on cash. And like I've been saying, as of now, I'm close to about 40% in cash. I was nearly 55% in cash about 4 weeks back. Invested about 10% in the last couple of weeks.
Okay, by the way, it's not just Axis which is seeing intraday rally. I just want to pull out intraday chart of Canara Bank, for example. Now, this is one stock which actually, even through the day, was falling less than the other PSU banks. Can we just have, of course, that's the town hall with Justin, the Canadian Prime Minister, but we'll go to that as well. Let's just pull out the intraday chart of Canara Bank and see the move in that stock, and also a couple of other PSU banking stocks where we're seeing some moves. So almost back into the green for that one. Some bit of recovery there as well. Ashwini, thoughts on Canara Bank?
See, everything is kind of bombed out, so it won't be surprising to see 2-3 day type of pullback both on the index as well as the better PSU banks. But overall, the market seems to be in a very strong downtrend. So whatever pullbacks you get should be used to sell.
Okay, Ambrish, Tata Steel, 15-16% off the highs of the year.
Right.
And of course, big news flow. Would you buy the stock?
Right now, I think I'll just wait for a while. Maybe if you'd asked me about 4 or 5 days back, maybe my view would have been a bit different. Now with that much of funds actually being invested into Bhushan Steel, I think one needs to be a bit cautious at this point of time. So I think, and especially with the rights shares also coming to the market very soon, I think you will see the stock closer to the rights issue price. So I think let's wait for that.
Okay, let's hear out what the Canadian Prime Minister is actually saying.
Youth activist or any of the things that I've done, I have focused on what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and what impact I have on the world in a tangible way, and what people's perceptions are, of course, matter to a certain extent in politics, but are something to be managed, not something that defines me for me.
But would you pirouette like your father did at the Buckingham Palace behind the Queen?
That was my father's thing. I think all of us try and figure out what it is that our parents did that we want to be like, and we get to choose what it is that our parents.
Okay, can't blame Shireen for being in such a jovial mood right now, Surabhi, right?
That looks like a very, very interesting conversation. Unfortunately, we're running into market close. We just have, less than 2 minutes to go. So, Anuj, what's the verdict now? Looking at it, it's not as bad as how we started when we started the show. But I don't know, does it give you any conviction or just shorts taking some money home?
Yeah, shorts taking some money off for sure, but there was some buying as well in the mid cap space, Surabhi, because advanced decline from 1:6 is ending at about 1:3.5 thereabout, and there also a lot of stocks have recovered. So obviously there's a tinge of buying today. Even some of the PSU banks have recovered, and obviously the stronger private banks like Kotak, HDFC Bank have seen buying at lower levels, but it's going to be a tough market, let's see if the markets have made a double bottom or thereabout. 3 days still to go for expiry week. It's turning out to be a tough series, so all over the place still. In terms of individual stocks, of course, we had clearly 2 or 3 pockets where you saw some bit of buying support. Reliance, for example, that stock is ending almost at the high point of the day. Then, of course, you had buying in select banking names like Kotak, Yes, Axis, and some buying also in Infosys. But on the way down, Tata Steel clearly was your big story of the day. So that stock was down about 6%. JSW Steel. So it's a unique case. Tata Steel is down because you're being too aggressive. JSW Steel is down because the market thought that it would have been a really good asset for JSW Steel, say at a slightly lower price. That's not happening. So JSW Steel is down about 3%. And of course, there are other stocks like Larsen, Dr. Reddy's, Sun Pharma, Mahindra & Mahindra as well, which are down a bit in trade today. Ultratech Cement as well. Broader market?
Broader market, of course, mixed trends. If we talk about some of the big movers and shakers, PNB has lost another 8% today. Overall, a bad day for PSU banks. I mean, Union Bank down 7.5%. You've seen Indian Bank, Allahabad Bank, Syndicate. I mean, the whole list of big names, Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, overall down a little off their lows, but nonetheless, the color is very clearly red. Beyond that, a couple of big stocks also saw plenty of action on the downside today. So Petronet LNG about 4% on the lower side. That's how it's closing out. Let's get the rates finally on Tata Global, because that stock was quite weak throughout most of today's trading session. You can see about 2.5% of a cut continuing even as we speak. Bakarangi's had a 5% down circuit today. By the way, NIT Tech, L&T Tech, I mean, some of these technology names from the mid-cap side of the market, they were extremely weak as well. That was another point to note. PC Jeweler, extremely volatile ride from almost a 10% cut. Finally, it's ending with a 6% cut. That's how it's played out. Some weakness on a Peninsula Land, down about 7% thereabouts. Gitanjali Gems lost more ground as well. So this is pretty much how the day has panned out. If I try and find out some of the winners, obviously Bhushan Steel tops the honors. 20% circuit continuing on that stock throughout the course of the day. Rain Industries has had some very good late buying, by the way, 8.5% up on that stock. Fortis Healthcare, again, volatility, finally ending in a 7% up move. And United Breweries, along with Quality, maybe even a Jet Airways. Some of these stocks managing to find traction, buyers coming in towards the end, or perhaps a bit of short covering. But those were the ones on the upside. Overall, the mid-cap index still down 1%, Anuj.
Oh yes, still down about 1% on the mid-cap index. So, Amrish, today NIT Tech was down 7%. Your thoughts on this? Because that was one stock which has done remarkably well. Of course, IT in general is doing well.
Right.
Perplexed to see a 7-8% fall here.
Yeah, but then I've not really tracked NIT Tech very closely. But then in this correction, I think I'll still stick to the large caps, stocks like Infosys and possibly TCS. Because I think that's the space to be in, especially like in a sector which hasn't been doing too well, say in the last 8 quarters, but expected to start doing well now going ahead. I think it's better to be with the large caps.
Okay, finally, Amrish, your thoughts, looking at how things have closed out today, how would you approach trade tomorrow morning?
See, I mean, for a trader, clearly it's like sell on a rise market. But I think for an investor, clearly it should start giving you those, picks which you actually wanted to buy for the last couple of months but couldn't buy. I think you'll get those prices quite soon. And surely I'll keep some money for that fire sale as and when that happens, which will be closer to about 95-9600 levels.
Okay, fair enough. Amrish, thanks a lot for your time today. Same question to you, Ashwini. Tomorrow morning, what's the trade?
See, it appears that some amount of short covering has happened today. Maybe some more happens tomorrow. So sell on rally is the way to go. And nothing changes in the last hour. Not even a single sector turned positive. It was just mild profit booking. I think at higher levels, say 25,300 thereabouts on the Bank Nifty. Maybe I think on the Nifty 10,400, 450. If we get there, any sort of gap up because of US, etc., that should be used to sell into the market.